Alright, let's dive into something that's been buzzing in the rugby world lately. The All Blacks just kicked off their South African tour with a win against the Stormers, 38-21. Sounds like a solid start, right? But here's the thing, personally, I think this result is being overanalyzed to the point of distraction. Let me explain why. First off, yes, the All Blacks won. But what many people don't realize is that this was a midweek game, not a full-fledged test match. The Stormers weren't exactly at their peak, they weren't match-sharp, and that's a detail I find fascinating. It's like judging a marathon runner based on a casual jog. Sure, you get a glimpse of their potential, but it's not the full picture. So, when we start dissecting this game as some kind of predictor for the series, I think we're missing the forest for the trees. What makes this really interesting is the context. The All Blacks are on tour, and midweek games are often about experimentation. Coaches try out new players, test different strategies, it's a sandbox for innovation. From my perspective, this game was less about the final score and more about the process. The All Blacks had a long list of could-do-betters, as Phil Gifford pointed out, but that's kind of the point. If everything was perfect in August, what would they work on for the rest of the year? In my opinion, the real story here isn't the win or the score, it's the journey. This game was a stepping stone, not a destination. If you take a step back and think about it, the All Blacks are in a phase of rebuilding and recalibrating. They're not just playing to win, they're playing to evolve. And that's what this series is really about. This raises a deeper question: how much should we read into midweek games? Personally, I think we're overloading them with significance. They're important, sure, but they're not the be-all and end-all. What this really suggests is that we need to adjust our expectations. Instead of treating every game like a final, maybe we should see them as chapters in a longer story. One thing that immediately stands out is the narrative around the Stormers. They're a talented team, no doubt, but they weren't at their best. And yet, the conversation has shifted to what this game means for the All Blacks' future. I think that's a bit unfair. It's like judging a chef based on a dish they made with half the ingredients missing. Context matters, and in this case, it's everything. So, where does this leave us? In my opinion, this game tells us very little about the series as a whole. It's a snapshot, not a panorama. What's more important is how the All Blacks use this experience to grow. If they can take the lessons from this game and build on them, then this tour could be a turning point. But if we keep fixating on the score, we're missing the bigger picture. Here's my closing thought: rugby is a game of moments, but it's also a game of momentum. This midweek win? It's a moment. But the real momentum will come from how the All Blacks adapt, learn, and evolve. So, instead of overanalyzing the score, let's focus on the journey. Because that's where the real story is unfolding. What do you think? Are we reading too much into this game, or is there more to it than meets the eye? Let me know in the comments below.